What's up everybody, Yellow Dot here, and today we will giving you guys some tips and tricks about Blue Protocol if you plan to play the Japanese version and you potentially don't speak much Japanese. Here is some useful information that you will want to know. Let's start with tip number 1. Tip number 1 is there's actually something nice in this game called drop tables for monsters. So when you go to this list right here in your book, you will see when you click on a monster, it shows what they drop and what type of rarity it is. Now, rare drops, of course, or legendary drops are way less common than the normal drops as you would imagine. But as you can see, you only get the drop tables for the monsters you've slain. As you can see, this monster right here has a really rare chance to drop a weapon. As you can see, quite high leveled weapons, I believe. Some of them don't show anything at all yet. This person or this guy drops level 10 weapons. I can tell by the fact that they are lightning. There's a lot of drops that are rare, and each monster seems to have its own rare drop. And the reason this is really useful, as you can see, there's like these icons, and the other icon I just showed was this icon, and there's the weapons. Now the reason those are useful is you're gonna want these because you're gonna have to farm for these either materials or you can kill the monster and you have a chance at getting the drop itself. Now farming the items could be really taking a while. Some people took hours in this network test to even get a drop or drops for the item they want to make, or the socket or stuff like these. Now as you can see, these are your sockets, and these basically give you all extra stats and bonuses to increase your gear score. And gear score is really important because the raids, dungeons, and even like some of the quest dungeons have a high gear score recommendation. As for raids and dungeons, it's a requirement, so you definitely will want to look at these. And the other guy you saw was like the monster icon, which are these right here. And these also give gear score. Now at the moment in the network test, gear score is based every level you get 10 gear score. So let's say I have this at 10, this will give me 100 gear score. These are 5, 50, 50, 50, and another 10 is another 100. This is quite a basic way to measure gear score in this game, and I don't even mind. Now let's get to tip number 2. And tip number 2 will be right here where we are. You can talk to this guy. It's very important to talk to this guy whenever you're in an area. You saw another person just do it as well. He will give you a damage dealt up buff in that area. Now in every area across the beginning area, across this area, there will be a buff guy. So make sure you talk to the buff guy to make sure you have more damage dealt up to make questing easier, farming easier, anything like that. It's just a very useful general thing to know overall. Next up, let's get to tip number 3. And tip number 3, I will stay right here, is about raids. So for raids, you need 780 gear score. As I have mentioned earlier, you need gear score, and it's a requirement and such that you get it. But once you get it, you can start doing them. And once you start doing them, let's say the raid starts, let's say it's 10 PM, the raid starts right now, and the timer ends at 11 PM for the raid and when it closes, right? So let's say I clear the raid, it took me about 15 minutes to clear the raid, let's say on average right now. So then we're like, okay, now what? We did the raid, we're done, right? We got our drops, our loot and goodies and everything, but wait. What you do is, you go back in. That's right, you can do raids as many times as you want until the hour is over. Now some may compare it to like an urgent quest in PSO2 as example, but the urgent quests you can only do once. In this game, you can just keep doing the raids over and over until the hour is up and the raid is down. And that's it for tip number 3. Let's go ahead and get to tip number 4. So tip number 4 is quite a useful tip. You will come to this area at the very top right of the map and you will enter this loading zone, which will take you here after you clear the second dungeon in the storyline. Now you can walk in here. This is basically called a free roaming dungeon. So after you clear the dungeon, it will grant you access to it in the open world, and anyone can enter it. As you can see, there's other players here. And basically what you do is you come down here to this area. You just keep walking into the dungeon. As you can see, there's some people killing here. But the spot I'm talking about is right here, where all these people are killing enemies. Now, the thing you can do here is grind, basically. Grind mobs for XP. I farmed here for 2 characters from level 1 to 10 in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Now, there's one thing I will note real quick, is that I recommend coming here when you're level 3. Because once you're level 3, you can hit the enemies. So the way this game works is if an enemy exceeds 7 levels above you, it becomes purple colored, and that's when you do 0 damage to the enemy and you will not receive any XP. So with that being said, you will not receive any XP if the enemy is purple colored, so you gotta train just a bit outside, like in the first area and second area to get to level 3. Then you come here and you can train all the way up to level 10 in about an hour. That outside may take about 20-ish minutes because it's pretty slow outside, but once you get in here, the money starts rolling in, or well, the XP, I should say. And that will be it for tip number 4. Let's go ahead to get to our final tip number 5. And here we are at tip number 5, next to the NPC that allows us to do imagine crafting for either B or E slots. So let's say right now I really want to get one of these imagine. Let's say I want to get this one right here, right? So what you do is you can track it in a way and make sure it takes you to where you need to go. Or rather, you have an easier time finding it. So the way you go about doing that is you simply click on the thing you want to farm. You can hover over it. On the eye, it will show you in which area it is. Now, an easy way to tell, even if you don't speak Japanese, the second word in this, not the first with the parentheses around it or whatever, the colons. The second word in this basically is the map area. As you will see, in every single one of them is basically like a map area. Or like what type you need. Like this is an item from a monster. This is a gatherable item, I believe, or vice versa. And then this one, now this one, it shows which area. So what you're gonna want to do is click track right here. And then you're gonna be like, okay, now what? So you go right here to the quest list. Then you click on the 4th tab at the top right here. And then you click this button right here that says HUD. Then you press escape. You can tap J to scroll through your quests if you have to. And then right here you can see 4 out of 6. This is the one we want to farm for. After that, you simply go towards the area. So we remember seeing this in the text, which means it's this area. Quite simple. And then what you will do is you will look on the map for a star, or the mini map, should say. So as you are walking around, you are like looking for what you have to do. It will show a minimap a star on the minimap with what enemies you have to kill. Now, as I have shown earlier, another thing I recommend doing is just grabbing your buff whenever you get to the area. So make sure you do that. And then after that, you get a move on. And then right here, wow, we already found one. So you see right here, a star. So that's basically the monster we will have to kill to get the drops for the Imagine we want. Now the drops are not guaranteed, but we can talk about that later. And that was it for the final tip of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet and you would like to see more Blue Protocol content. And I will see you in the next video.